This is Shirley from Shirley's World, and I'm just finishing up breakfast. I had oatmeal. Let me put you in the holder here. Linda, hi. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, I just had finished my breakfast. I had oatmeal, just because I needed something to stick with me today. My handyman's coming in a little bit, and I have to, even though he does most everything that I have on the list, I have to go out and do some stuff outside too. Or he has lots of questions sometimes, and it's just easier if I'm out there. Little Liza Jane, thanks for joining me again. Happy to see you. Spirit, well, we had a little frightening thing last night. Spirit, my dog, who has lung cancer and is under chemo treatment, she coughed and coughed and coughed last night till I thought she was going to tear her throat out. Sorry, now I'm coughing. She coughed and coughed and coughed, and then she usually makes a hacking sound, and it sounds like she's going to cough something up, and she never does. Well, last night she coughed up phlegm, and it was bloody. So it really was upsetting. She did it like 3 times. Yeah, 3 times. It was phlegm and blood. And there was nothing else in it, just that. But then she sort of settled down and went to sleep for a while. And the next time she coughed and hacked, she just brought up some clear phlegm. So, when I got up this morning, there was nothing around that she had coughed up during the night. So, I'm hoping maybe she was coughing just so much that maybe she broke a little blood vessel in her throat, or it was coming more from her throat because she was just coughing so much. That's the sound of her coughing. It's a harsh cough, and but today she seems to be acting fine. I mean, she ran around outside this morning, and she's I'll show you her if I can. Oh, Spirit, where is she here? You can see her? There she is, behind me. There you are. Spirit. Hi, Spirit. That's little Spirit. And she seems fine this morning. She's running around. She ate her breakfast really well. She's a English pointer. Yeah, I have 2. I rescue for the Pointer Rescue Organization. Well, I take fosters is what I do. I foster them, but then I flunk fostering and I adopt them. So, yeah. I've never had a successful foster where I fostered and passed it on to a forever home, because this becomes their forever home and I adopt them. So I guess I'm not very good at fostering and giving up animals. So that's what I'll continue to do, but I'll always get my dogs from a rescue, and I love the breed, the English Pointer breed. So I used to have labs. Mainly black labs. My daughter has her second black lab now, and which we got for her about 11 years ago as a tiny puppy, and surprised her one Christmas. And that video of it's called Christmas Puppy is on my YouTube videos. I have a blog called Shirley's World, and it's shirleysworld.blogspot.com. And if you go to my blog, along the right-hand side, the right-hand bar, you can find links to all my other things. You know, Flickr and Pinterest and Periscope and Twitter and YouTube, all my YouTube videos. There's lots of YouTubes on there of my horses and chickens and all my animals. And this one called Christmas Puppy, and that's my daughter getting her new lab. That was her second one. She lost her first lab. He lived till he was 17 years old and died of, I don't know what, but old age mostly. But yeah, so she was distraught over that, of course, and so we waited a couple years and gave her this surprise of a Christmas lab puppy, and she named it Trouble 2. Her first one was Trouble, and this is Trouble 2. He's 11 now and doing really well, and we love our dogs. We love all our animals. So I thought I'd come on this morning, finish up my coffee while I'm waiting for my handyman. And I try to come on here every morning at least. I actually do try to come on in the daytime, but sometimes I just get busy and it kind of goes by the wayside. But I'm hoping my handyman won't be here the entire day because I want to go to Aldi's and do my grocery shopping for the month, or at least for a couple weeks. If not, I'll do that tomorrow. Let's see, another thing I want to do, my sister's here. My sister came on Sunday, and she's here for 10 days. Thanks for the hearts. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, she's here. She gets up about 9:30 or so she's not quite up yet. Favorite things to buy. I think the best buys, I drink lactose-free milk, and their lactose-free milk is just as good as Lactaid, and it's like $2 cheaper. $2 cheaper. And yes, I buy all my milk there, all my half and half cream. I buy my yogurt there. They're getting really to have nice produce there. So I buy all my produce, especially like the berries. Blueberries and blackberries are much cheaper there. Bread, I buy my bread there. And canned goods, they're very inexpensive too. I buy everything that I can there. I was buying my coffee for my Keurig there. However, we were in a store we have here in Medina called Marks, M-A-R-C-S, Marks. And they have inexpensive groceries also. Not quite as good as Aldi, but they had a box of 94 K-Cups. 94 K-Cups for $24.99. That came out to being like 26 cents a cup. That's the cheapest I've ever seen coffee. So I went ahead and bought this big box. I didn't know what it tasted like at all. I've never had this kind. But I opened it and I've had 2 cups out of it. It's 4 different kinds. There's breakfast blend and the coffee donut shop blend and French roast and another one, 100% Colombian, I think. And so far I've tried the French roast, which is the dark one. It's strong, but it was good. And this morning I'm having the breakfast blend, and it's good. So I'm really happy that I didn't have 94 K-Cups that I didn't like. But it's the kind my sister gets, so she said that I should get it, and if I didn't like it, she'd buy it from me. So I couldn't lose. So yes, Keurig is more expensive than having your coffee in a Mr. Coffee, but It's so convenient, and it's only me, and when I want a cup of coffee, I want it now. And so it works really well for me, especially when I can get it for 26 cents a cup. I mean, I love Starbucks. I go to Starbucks a lot. However, I never spend my own money on Starbucks. For Christmas and my birthday and everything, I ask, that's all I want, is a Starbucks card or a Panera, either one, because I like to eat at Panera, like eat lunch there. So either one of those. So I usually have a lot of money on my Starbucks card. So I never have to pay for my coffee. I just use my gift cards. I have a gold card, of course. And I stop in Starbucks too, at least a couple times a week, sometimes more. And of course, when I get coffee, I always have to have a little something else with it there. Yeah, it's a good way to do it, because I do like Starbucks coffee and all their fancy drinks. I know they're a lot of carbs, but, it's a treat. And it's one of the couple places. I like Panera too. There's only a few places that I don't feel uncomfortable going in by myself and sitting by myself. And Starbucks is one of them. And Panera is another one. I don't mind going in there and having lunch by myself. I people watch a lot in Panera. So I may scope from one of those places every once in a while. Yeah, if you had Hortons. Hortons, is that a coffee? I haven't had anything named Hortons. I don't have a store named Hortons. I don't know quite what you mean there. But Tim Hortons out of Canada. No, we don't have that here. Oh, it's a restaurant. No, we don't have that. Is it good? You like that one? Yeah. The chickens are good. Oh, they have your favorite coffee. I like, there's just not one kind I like. For a while I was stuck on 8 o'clock coffee. You can get it in the K-cups, and that's all I was drinking for a while. I really like it. But I try different ones. So this time I found nice, inexpensive ones. Panera, Panera's coffee's okay. But I like their, take 2 lunches where you get a half a sandwich and some soup. Those are my favorite lunches. But my sister and I, when my sister's here, we usually go out to eat more than when I'm here by myself, of course. It's more fun. Last night I cooked though. I made eggplant parmesan. She had never had it that way before. She only remembered eggplant from when my mother made it, and she just would bread it and fry it, and that's it. She wouldn't put any sauce or anything on it, or cheese. And my sister said, I don't like eggplant. I says, well, you have to try this, you have to try it this way. So she really liked it. So I'm glad. We ate a big dish of it. So that was last night's supper. Tonight, I don't know. We bought foot-long sandwiches. We just may have sandwiches and maybe some tomato soup for supper. Gotta run. Okay, Linda, thank you so much for joining. And the hearts. Thanks for the hearts. Yeah, I wanted to tell a couple cooking tips here before I go. I still have some herbs doing fine in my herb garden because whatever freeze we had, I'm sure we had some sort of a freeze here. We didn't have a really hard freeze because it didn't kill a lot of my things. So I'm going out and I'm going to cut some fresh herbs. And what I do is I take an ice cube tray and I put the herbs, a little bit of herbs in each little ice cube place, and then fill it with water. You can do it two ways. You can fill it with olive oil with the herbs in it, and you can freeze it that way, or you can freeze them in water. Now, the olive oil ones I would use in dishes like stews and dishes where you would normally put, some olive oil. Put some olive oil, and the watery, the ones done in water, I put in soups and things like that, where you're going to put stock in. So if you just drop in a cube of the herbs in the water, there you have fresh herbs, and so easy to have fresh herbs all winter. So I'm going to go cut some herbs. That's one thing I'll be doing while my handyman's doing his thing here. Yeah, it works really well. So I have to go downstairs and find my extra ice cube trays that I do this in, and get that done before my herbs are gone. I should have been doing it all summer, but I wasn't. Another thing I found out that I have not done yet, because I did not have a good crop of tomatoes this year. Did you know that you can freeze whole tomatoes? Like in the fall when you're having an abundance of ripe tomatoes and you just can't use them fast enough. I don't can. I'm 73 and I never learned to can. My mother never taught me to can. Never taught us to can. She canned, but I remember she did things in pressure cookers which she was afraid of, and I just don't remember much about it, but she did can. So I don't know how to can. The only thing I do is freeze. So, but you can freeze whole tomatoes. How you do it is you bring in they have to be ripe tomatoes. You bring them in and you take off the stem and you wash them really well. And then be sure to dry them really well. You dry the tomatoes. And then you can put how many you would think you would need at a time. Like I would put 4 in a freezer bag. 4 whole tomatoes in a freezer bag. And make sure you get all the air out of the freezer bag. You can, so much so that you can zip it shut except for a little place at the end. And a lot of people will take a straw and put it in that little space at the end and suck out the rest, as much air as you possibly can. So there's no air in the bag. And then you just lay them flat in the freezer. And that's how you do. And supposedly they're just as good for cooking. Now, freezing it says changes the consistency just slightly. So they probably aren't good for maybe slicing like on a sandwich. Maybe they get a little mushy on the outside, I'm not sure. But they said they're really good and just as fresh tasting for cooking. So that's a good idea. I'm going to try that maybe next year if I have a good crop of tomatoes. This year was the first year nothing grew well for me this year. Plus the deer ate at least 3/4 of my garden. So I was facing a lot of problems. So those are my 2 tips for today. The herbs in the ice cube trays and how to freeze whole tomatoes. So I will close for now. Thank you for joining. And I hear my sister is up. Yep.
Peeking.
Yeah, she's peeking. Thanks for the hearts so much. I appreciate it. And I'm going to go and have the rest of my coffee with my sister who's going to have breakfast now. So I'll see you either tomorrow or later on today. Bye.